Hey, and thank you for clicking play. Yep, I'm back in Australia, and you would have seen my pickups video where I showed all the stuff that I picked up, but a couple of things I didn't mention. How I fitted all this in my case, I don't know. One is one of my mates wanted a Spectrum. They're hard to get over here, so I managed to sort that out for him, get a Spectrum Plus 3 over here. So, nice one. And the second thing is this. A machine I have no nostalgia for, no need for. Absolutely no reason to buy one except that a guy called Chrissy offered it to me at an exceptional price. Now it was just the unit, no controller, and no PSU. So Shane, who's the guy that got the Spectrum Plus 3, has kindly lent me this dual, modern dual Amiga power supply, which includes the cable for the CD32. So that is what is plugged in. And he's also lent me the game that we will test it on, and that is very relevant. Now, it hasn't been trouble-free. Basically, how I got everything back was most of my train set stuff that you would have seen in the pickups video, records, that kind of thing, a few other items, all went in my case, fully locked, with my clothes acting as bubble wrap. Most of it was in there. The Amiga games, sorry, the Spectrum games, I packed inside the Amiga games, as many as I could, and then all the games were packed into my hand luggage. And on top of them was this wrapped in bubble wrap. So that's how I got everything back. All actually within weight, which is fantastic. Although there was a larger train set that I did have to post to myself. Still waiting for that to arrive. But what happened at the airport, and I'll show you a reconstruction, was that as I was queuing at Heathrow to check in, I had my suitcase upright so that I could roll it through the queue on the wheels, and I was just pushing it along with my hand luggage bag perched on top. Keeping in mind the CD32 was the utmost thing in the bag. My hand luggage case tumbled off the suitcase, hit the hard floor, and it had flipped. So this took the brunt of the weight of all the games on top of the CD32 onto a tiled floor. So does it work still? Well, I know Chrissy tested it before giving it to me. That's a fact, and it was working fine for him. Let's just say what I've discovered now is this is the Alfa Romeo of Amigas. You have to know how to get it to work, but once it is, then it just makes you smile for reasons that you can't quite explain. And I've owned 3 Alfa Romeos, so I know. So let's turn it on. When it doesn't work, it just gives me a grey screen. But if I leave it on for 10 minutes, then it will boot. This has already been booted today, just before I turned it off for making this video, in which case this should work no problem when I turn it on. Ready? And there it is. And funny enough, so that will flick. Let's check the drive. And the gorgeous sound of a CD32 booting up. Fantastic. So I'm actually really happy with this. Now, in terms of controllers, I've got the Battle Station that I could plug in, of course, because that has the 6-button layout, so that is absolutely fine. And I know that's what my mate Shane uses with his CD32. But of course, you can also plug in an Amiga mouse. And the reason why the mouse is plugged in is because the game that I've borrowed off Shane to test this CD32 with is... get it out of the protective bag that he also put it in, because we're all very protective over our collection, is this. It's Simon the Sorcerer, which you would have seen if you watched it in an episode I did about using CD32 and CD-TV discs in emulation via Amiga Forever. And what you will have noticed was that this audio was glitching. So that was this exact same disc, but it was put into the CD drive of my PC. Insert some footage, and you'll hear now how the sound was glitching. Okay. You can hear that sort of bitty blip, blip, blip. So I'm not sure if that's just, I think that's just my CD drive reading it. I don't know if it sounds like that on the actual CD32, so that'll be interesting. Is it emulation at play that's doing that? Is it the fact that it's a PC optical drive? Who knows? So what I'm really interested in to see is, does that occur on the real hardware? And this is one of the main reasons for emulation's great, and I don't take anything back that I said in that video. But in the back of your mind when you're using emulation, there's always that question, but is that really how it behaves? Let's have a look. Simon the Sorcerer on a real Amiga CD32. Let's play. See what I mean? Once it's on, it's fine. And so to be honest, this really is my only reason for owning one. Let's face it, I don't think there's a single instance where squeezing an existing computer into a console form factor ended well. And I would include the CD32 in that. I'm sorry, but lovely though it looks, it's an Amiga 1200 with a CD-ROM in a console form factor. That's all it is. So all the benefits of having a computer are gone. Stripped away for the sake of trying to compete with the likes of Sega and Nintendo at the time. It doesn't actually quite make sense to me. And it's the last Amiga Commodore made. Obviously, they then became ESCOM. And ESCOM, the only thing they came out with was the A4000T, which unless I'm very much mistaken, is essentially just an Amiga 4000 in a PC case, give or take. You know, keeping in mind it was PCs that they were into mainly, which is why they let the Amiga die, and then they died themselves. Let's have a listen.
Let me try that again. The wand never fails.
Gotta love these intros. Now the music is fine.
And now for my next trick.
There's no glitching. There's no glitching in the voiceover either.
Back to the old drawing board.
Right, let's skip that and get into the game. And while this loads up, it is nice to own the last Amiga Commodore ever made, even though it's a console and not a computer.
Okay, Gobber, this magic paper brings food.
And as you're probably aware, you know, you can plug in a PC PST2 keyboard into this, add your mouse, a few other things you can do, and essentially you've got all the joys of an Amiga 1200 plus a CD-ROM in this form factor anyway.
I am pleased to announce that you have been chosen from literally hundreds of hopeful candidates to perform.
So there you go. Look, I'm not hearing any glitching in the audio there. None at all. And it was glitching all over the place in emulation. And I'm told, obviously I was using Amiga Forever, which essentially is using WinUAE under the hood anyway. This, and I've also been told that WinUAE itself can also have similar glitches as well, because of course you can load CD32 ISOs through that. So essentially doing the same thing. It was nice to be using a physical CD32 disc through emulation. What a cool little thing to try. But this takes all the guesswork out. What do CD32 games actually play like? Well, now I can find out firsthand. So that's what I will do going forwards now that I own this. I'm not going to do a playthrough of this today because, as you know, I know nothing about point and click adventures. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. Shane's told me I need to play through this even with a walkthrough. So I might do that just to experience the story and just to say I've done it. but I'm not going to bore you with putting that on video. This is great. Can I burn the dog? Obviously, you know, you would be playing with this with a controller. I'm not quite sure how that would work other than moving the cursor around. But because I've plugged the mouse in, I haven't had to configure anything like I did in emulation. It's gone, okay, you've got a mouse plugged in. Let's play with the mouse. Fantastic. Let's pick up the dog.
No way. I don't know where it's been.
Still can't do it. Let's eat the dog. Consume dog.
I prefer my dog cooked.
Still can't do it, even though I'm playing on the real hardware. Why can't I eat the dog? So we've got to cook the dog because obviously there's a fire there. I'm not going to do the same joke twice. Well, I just did. What is that? I don't know. Nothing. Nothing! It's nothing!
A strange picture with strange symbols around it.
There you go. And there's a fridge, but it's locked.
The door appears to be stuck shut.
And there's a magnet.
It's a fine example of its kind.
Can I pick up the magnet? I've picked up the magnet. I have a magnet. Can I now open the fridge because I've removed the magnet?
The door appears to be stuck shut.
Oh, come on, open the fridge. I want to cook the dog. There's got to be something in there that I can use to cook the dog. Okay, I think we'll end there. Thanks for watching. I think having lights in front of me gives me migraines, man. Oh, seriously. Oh, not good.